6 Georgia inmates are being praised after saving an officer's life.
For saving a deputy's life in Polk County.
How often do you hear about an inmate saving an officer's life? It may be surprising to hear, but there are many cases of inmates saving officers' lives. In this video, we will take a look at 5 inmates who saved officers' lives. These stories are both heartwarming and inspiring, and believe me, some of these will awe you. So let's get started. Number 5. 120 riots. In 2012, 120 prisoners at South Carolina's Lee Correctional Institution started a riot with homemade weapons. The situation became very tense. They took a cop hostage, which was a very sad turn of events. Imagine how scared and desperate that cop must have been when he knew that his life was in danger. From the outside, it looked like there was almost no way out of the jail. It was risky to send in a SWAT team because the cop who was being held captive could die. After that, though, something amazing happened. Inmates in the jail used a cell phone that wasn't okay to call the police. They told them right where the officer was hidden, tied up in a closet. Not only that, but they also told them where the prisoners who were fighting were. With this important information in hand, the SWAT team made a plan. They slowly made their way into the jail through its confusing hallways. They miraculously got the cop out of harm's way while bringing order back to the chaotic facility. No one seemed to care much about finding out who had that illegal cell phone or where it went after that. That gadget, which usually breaks the rules, saved the day in this case. You know, sometimes things just happen that change the way you see them. Number 4. John Queen and Deputy Patrick Edmond. John Queen and his fellow inmates at the Gwinnett County Jail sensed something alarming about Deputy Patrick Edmond. Though the deputy was there for a routine cell check, the alertness in his eyes had faded, replaced by a vacant stare into the distance. At that crucial moment, the instinctive urge to help kicked in. "Hey, get a chair!" someone yelled. John quickly slid a chair behind Deputy Edmond, while a couple of other inmates gently guided him into it. This wasn't just any group of people. These were inmates watching out for the man responsible for their supervision. The gravity of the situation didn't escape them. Deputy Edmond was in trouble and the clock was ticking. As one inmate grabbed the deputy's radio to summon immediate medical assistance, another dashed for the phone to do the same. Their quick actions weren't just helpful, they were potentially life-saving. Tests later confirmed what the inmates instinctively knew. Deputy Edmond was suffering a stroke triggered by a blood clot in his brain. Thanks to their swift intervention, he was rushed to surgery where the clot was successfully removed. Now recovering at home, Deputy Edmond left a lasting impression on his charges. Unlike officers who appear indifferent, making an inmate's sentence even more burdensome, Edmond was different. He gave respect and in return received it. "He's a real stand-up guy," said John, and it was a sentiment echoed by others. The fact that these inmates acted so decisively in his hour of need spoke volumes, not just about their own characters, but about Deputy Edmond's unique approach to his job. He didn't just maintain order, he took the time to connect and encourage, to treat those in his charge as human beings deserving of respect. Number 3. Payne County Jail. In an unexpected turn of events, one inmate stepped up to help a detention center officer who found himself under attack from another inmate at Payne County Jail in Oklahoma. The incident was caught on the facility's surveillance cameras. Tashka Robert Frank Merritt, a 24-year-old inmate, initiated an assault on a detention officer which could have escalated had it not been for the intervention of another prisoner. Robert Charles Hammock, who was seated not far from the unfolding incident, seized the opportune moment when Merritt was momentarily distracted. In a swift, heroic move, Hammock enveloped Merritt in a massive bear hug, effectively immobilizing him on the spot. Subsequent to this, additional officers dashed to the scene to help subdue Merritt and bring the situation under control. Astonishingly, no injuries were reported in the chaotic episode. Captain Kevin Woodward of the Payne County Sheriff's Office later commented on the matter. He highlighted the staff shortage, attributing it to budget constraints, and noted that this made the jail environment increasingly perilous for everyone involved. "We certainly don't want any good Samaritans getting injured while intervening," he said. Merritt had initially been jailed on charges related to public intoxication and petty theft. However, this new assault on an officer is set to bring an additional charge against him. If convicted, he can face an extended sentence of up to 5 years behind bars. Quite a story, isn't it? It brings to light the complexities and unexpected alliances that can form even in a place designed for confinement and punishment. Number 2. Mitchell Smalls and Deputy Warren Hobbs. In a setting where barriers often divide people, a compelling event unfolded that proved humanity and heroism know no boundaries. Deputy Hobbs, a well-respected figure among both his colleagues and the inmates, was not feeling himself on that fateful day. His decision to take off his signature hat was out of character and a sure sign that something was wrong. A prisoner named Smalls saw him fanning himself and sweating a lot. Even though Smalls was in a lower room, he could see the deputy's desk clearly. While watching Deputy Hobbs trip and hit the ground hard, Smalls knew he had to do something. Driven by a sense of urgency, he banged on his door, setting off an alarm that sounded throughout the unit. Soon there was a cacophony of bangs and people calling for the helpless deputy. Even more amazing is the fact that Deputy Hobbs had no idea what was going on, until he heard a lot of worried voices calling out, "Deputy! Deputy Hobbs! Deputy!" He didn't even know he had passed out or was having a medical emergency. He was woken up by the calls and saw prisoners looking down at his desk through their window. Realizing how important it was, he was able to open their door quickly. Dispatchers and other police were quickly notified through the intercom system, which stated, "Officer needs help. The deputy needs help." When asked how Deputy Hobbs was doing, the authorities gave a grim answer: head injury. Immediate medical help was sought. Most interesting about this story is not how quickly someone acted to save a man's life, but the unspoken bond of respect and humanity that drove these actions. Along with his badge, inmates saved Deputy Hobbs because he was a good man who treated them with kindness and respect. There was no question in their minds that Deputy Hobbs would have helped them again right away. In addition to wanting him to come back as a police officer, they also wanted him to come back as a person. Number 1. 6 inmates saving an officer's life. A group of 6 inmates from a Georgia correctional facility were outside the prison walls on a work detail. They were tidying up a cemetery for Father's Day when their overseeing officer suddenly collapsed. This detail officer, who seemed perfectly fine earlier, had warned the inmates that he wasn't feeling well. He even went as far to tell them where his phone was, just in case something happened. And something indeed did. The moment was pivotal. One inmate looked up and saw the officer collapsing to his knees. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, he alerted the others. They all sprang into action, running back to get help. When they reached the fallen officer, they found him in dire straits, face down, breathing irregularly. Decisions had to be made, and they had to be fast. The prisoners took off the officer's gun belt and put it down right away. Since they were going to do CPR if needed, this was the smart thing to do. Then they took off his safety vest because they thought it might get in the way of any efforts to save his life. And as he had said, they dug through his bags, found his phone, and quickly dialed 911. The cop was barely breathing and not moving for a while. Then his breathing got back to normal, though they were still shallow and hard. What's amazing about this story is not just how quickly these prisoners thought of what to do when their lives were in danger, but also how much trust and kindness they showed. The prisoners could easily get to the officer's things, including his gun, cell phone, and even the keys to the county van. The chance was there for them to make money, but they decided to show compassion and kindness instead. They picked to help someone. The situation made these people show something strong, even though he wears a badge and they wear jail stripes. The lines between them blurred at that crucial moment. Saving a life that was on the edge of death wasn't about who was locked up and who was free. The officers, prisoners, and people who worked with them had become like family because they helped someone who was in need. The cop is now getting better, but he has been told not to do any work outside because it is so hot. But beyond the physical healing is a story that reminds us of a very important truth. We all have goodness inside us, just waiting for the right time to show itself. So what do you think about these incredible tales of inmates turning into unexpected heroes? Drop a comment and let's get the conversation going. If you found this video riveting and want to hear more extraordinary real-life stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.